And by the way, if the projections, pray God they're not right, Father. If they're right, though, in the next several months, there'll be over 200,000 additional deaths. That'll be in 1 year, 400,000 people Americans would have died. That's more than lost in all of World War II.
This clip from Joe Biden, I think, is very important, and I'd like for you to take a minute to watch it. It's short, but please watch it, because I think sometimes we don't feel the impact, and we have been so desensitized to losing 217,000 people. But the potential for us to lose so much more over the next few months is a terrifying and harrowing notion. Take a listen in as Joe Biden describes it.
How many empty chairs were around the kitchen table this morning or the dining room table last night? How many? How many women or men leaned over when they got in bed last night and reached over to touch their husband and wife, and they weren't there? You all know what loss is. It's profound, especially when it was avoidable, much of it. But mishandling the pandemic isn't enough for Trump. On top of that, he's still trying to take away your health care. Trump's still determined in the midst of this pandemic. And by the way, if the projections, pray God they're not right, Father. If they're right, though, in the next several months, there'll be over 200,000 additional deaths. That'll be in 1 year, 400,000 people Americans would have died. That's more than lost in all of World War II. Hear me? World War II was 4 years. More American souls would have been lost than in World War II. But what's he doing? He's still determined to destroy the Affordable Care Act. This isn't hyperbole.
This isn't hyperbole. I don't know how many times I've had to say that over the last 7 months of quarantine to try to help people understand the scale and the scope of the suffering and the lost lives, because we don't physically see 217,000 dead bodies. We can't quite calculate the type of mourning and pain that causes. And the fact that so many of those deaths were 100% unnecessary. Those deaths are a direct result of the Trump administration. And when we say things like that, like Joe Biden just got done saying, people kind of gloss over. People don't connect the dots sometimes, and they think that we're just fear mongering. But the truth is that there would be at least 175,000 people still living right now if there was no Donald Trump administration. And if projections hold, we may see about 200,000 more deaths between now and the end of the year, which is terrifying, which is utterly horrifying. And what is Donald Trump trying to do? He's trying to cut the Affordable Care Act. He's not trying to save lives. He's trying to encourage herd immunity, which will cost us upwards of 2 million deaths. This level of sociopathy is something I have not seen in my lifetime. I can't speak for other generations, but for the last 40 years of my life, I have never experienced this type of sociopathy that would look at 217,000 deaths and suggest that we enact policies that will cause millions. And this is exactly why we have to throw everything that we can behind getting rid of Donald Trump, because our literal lives depend on it. Our lives and the lives of our loved ones depend on it. This is why I don't beat around the bush with the fact that I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. No, I'm not, but that's immaterial. That's who we have to deal with right now, and that's who we have to use to get rid of Donald Trump. Donald Trump must be stopped no matter the cost, because if he is not stopped, we will see loved ones not make it, friends not make it, family members not make it. And it's a strong possibility that one of us listening to this won't make it, because we allowed a madman to remain in power, because we couldn't understand the scope of the threat that he poses to human life, because we thought people were speaking in hyperbole when we said Donald Trump doesn't care about you. But 217,000 people would testify, if they could, that the President of the United States did nothing to protect their lives. In fact, he did the exact opposite. He downplayed this virus. He politicized this virus. He exacerbated the situation, leading directly to their deaths. And if we're not careful, if the president gets a second term and gets his way, we could see upwards of 2 million people die because he wants to employ a strategy of herd immunity. He's weighed the economy and human lives in the balance, and he said that it is more cost efficient for people to die than it is to have a bad economy.